1939 Europe map on a wooden table, dust motes dancing in dim light. Camera slowly zooming into the border of Germany and Poland. A beautiful
Vintage.
European wheat field in late August. Sun setting, but dark storm clouds gathering unnaturally fast on the horizon. Aerial view of a bustling European city in 1939 Warsaw. Misty morning in a rural Polish village, thatched roofs, sleeping livestock, peaceful but cold atmosphere. 1939 historical accuracy. Close-up of a Polish family eating breakfast. Vintage clothing, warm lighting, faces full of hope, but eyes showing subtle worry. Extreme close-up of a fountain pen, signing the Molotov-Ribbentrop packed on heavy paper. Smoke from a cigar swirling. Low-key two military officers, one in Nazi German uniform, one in Soviet uniform, shaking hands in a shadowy room. Night scene. German SS soldiers in a forest quietly changing into Polish military uniforms. Moonlight filtering through trees, tense thriller exterior atmosphere of the Gleiwitz radio tower at night, shadows moving quickly around the base. Dramatic Dutch angle shot, 1939 architecture. Low angle shot of a radio station floor, staged scene with motionless bodies in Polish uniforms. Camera tracking slowly, a vintage bakelite radio sitting on a table in a 1930s living room. Close-up of a newspaper spinning onto screen. Headline: Poland attacks Germany in German font, rapid montage, motion blur. A single match being struck in slow motion against a dark background. The flame morphing into a massive explosion transition. Metaphorical. A vintage military pocket watch ticking towards 4:45 a.m., resting on a tactical map. The coastline of Westerplatte, Poland, thick gray morning mist. Silhouette of the massive battleship Schleswig-Holstein looming in the fog. The battleship Schleswig-Holstein firing its massive main turrets. Huge muzzle flash illuminating the Predon darkness. Shockwave on water, debris flying in slow motion from a brick wall explosion. Dust and smoke engulfing the screen. Chaotic and terrifying war scene. Looking up from the ground, hundreds of German Heinkel 111 bombers filling the sky, blocking the sun. Terrifying scale. 1939. Aerial view from a bomber bay opening. Bombs dropping towards a Polish railway junction. Black and white newsreel style but high resolution. Close-up of a Stuka Ru-87 dive bomber diving vertically, propeller spinning, siren mechanism visible. Intense speed blur. Civilians in a Warsaw street looking up and screaming, covering ears, camera shaking to simulate the siren vibration. 1939 from a trench. Panzer I and two tanks rolling over the top, mud flying, treads grinding, mechanical detail. Wide cinematic shot of a column of German tanks stretching to the horizon across Polish flatlands. Dust clouds rising, golden hour lighting. A German tank smashing through a wooden barricade and telephone poles, wires snapping, dynamic physics, debris flying. Fast-paced montage of tank tracks, plane propellers, and boots marching. Superimposed over a map of Poland being consumed by Polish infantry soldiers in trenches firing rifles desperately. Explosions nearby, grit and dirt on faces. Intense combat. Cinematic slow motion handheld Polish cavalry charging through smoke and fog. Horses galloping, sabers drawn. Heroic but tragic atmosphere. A fallen cavalry saber lying in the mud next to a modern tank track mark. Rain starting to fall. Symbolic and sad. Shallow depth of field. A crowd in Warsaw gathering around a loudspeaker. Faces lighting up with hope. Sunlight breaking through clouds. Emotional. People cheering and waving Polish, British, and French flags outside an embassy building. Tears of joy, historical reenactment. A Polish officer inside a bunker looking at a map, pointing to the west. Confident expression, dim bunker lighting. An empty, desolate road in France. Wind blowing dead leaves. Silence, long shot, melancholic. French soldiers sitting on the Maginot Line, playing cards, bored, guns covered in canvas. Peaceful countryside background. Close-up of a rifle resting against a wall. Spiderweb forming on the trigger. symbolizing inaction, dust motes. A lone Polish soldier standing in a ruined city, surrounded by shadows that look like wolves. Metaphorical, high contrast. Ragged Polish soldiers retreating through a burning forest, uniforms torn, bandages, exhaustion, fire reflected in eyes. A soldier looking through binoculars to the east, expression turning from hope to horror, sweat on face. Massive Soviet tank columns BT-27 crossing the border, red flags, distinct Soviet uniforms, dust rising, wide shot. Top-down view of a map of Poland, black arrows coming from west, red arrows coming from east, crushing the center. Symbolic shot of a soldier fighting a wolf in front, while a bear attacks from behind. Cinematic lighting, dramatic. High-altitude shot of Poland covered in smoke and fire from both east and west borders, darkness closing in. The royal castle in Warsaw burning, rubble everywhere, smoke filling the sky. Apocalypse Now style, 1939, a ruined street in Warsaw, completely silent, a child's toy lying in the dust, camera static, sad atmosphere. A classroom map of Europe, where Poland is physically torn off the wall, leaving a blank space, symbolic. German troops marching in a victory parade through ruined Warsaw, swastika flags hanging from buildings, desaturated colors. A fire burning a map of Poland, the flames jumping to France, then England, then the globe, visual metaphor for World War II. A blood-red sunrise over a battlefield, crosses in the distance, end credits, atmosphere. Text 1939 to 1945, fading in.